Alrighty, what is quacking, everybody? This is Yump Quacks, where I talk about games and I talk about stuff because I like games and I like stuff. So, Mega Man is a amazing franchise. I've grown up with Mega Man, playing all the various types of Mega Mans. You got your Mega Man X's, which is probably my favorite iteration, second favorite actually, I should say, in this video. Second favorite, very fun. You hunt the Mavericks. You have the OG Mega Mans where you fight Dr. Wily, and you got Mega Man Battle Networks where you jack into electronics and you just run around and kill things that are posing threats to these electronics. And out of these three big ones for Capcom, like, Mega Man thrives. Like, everyone loves Mega Man. It's such a great series. But lately, it's just kind of like fallen. It's definitely fallen to the wayside for Capcom over the years, and we haven't gotten a new Mega Man game since 2018, which is unfortunate. And out of these big three, my favorite one is not among them. My favorite one is Mega Man Legends. Mega Man Legends is the first time Mega Man was in a 3D environment, and the story is vastly different from these three iterations. Like, you can kind of like make kind of comparisons between Mega Man X and the OG Mega Mans, because it's just like, oh, you gotta fight evil robots that like want to take over the world or whatever. I mean, like, the whole premise is still evil robots take over the world and all of the Mega Mans, but like, it's presented very, I would say, the most similar between X and the OG. But Battle Network, a little bit different, there's just evil electronics basically. And then in Legends, it's completely different. The whole world is completely different. So what Mega Man Legends it's like basically a small open world game, and there's two of them. There's Mega Man 1 and 2, Legends 1 and 2. So in the first one, you're just on a really big island, and you have the different types of areas that you can go to. And there's lots of like hidden collectibles and some side quests. Like, one of the side quests is you can literally play on a game show that's broadcasted to the island, which is pretty cool. There's a side quest where you save like a sick girl who's in the doctor's office, and there's like a side quest to rebuild the town if it gets destroyed by sky pirates if you suck at the game. Which is honestly a really cool thing for something that came out on the PS1 and N64, is like, if you suck at the game and these pirates are just wailing on these buildings and destroying everything when you're trying to fight them, like, you have to like pay boatloads of money to fix the town. But if you're good at the game, you can just kind of kill them without there being too much damage. So that's like a really cool feature in the game for a game that came out in the late 90s. And it has a really rich lore. So the entire world is covered by water, and it's not like Wind Waker where you're on a boat and you're snooze festing through the fucking game, okay? Like, it's not like that. It's not boring like Wind Waker. Because in number 2, in 1 you're stuck on an island, but in 2 you go to some different islands and they have different terrains, but you got a flying ship, okay? So you fly over the water and you get to places faster, unlike Wind Waker where you're sleeping at the wheel and the King of Red Lions is like, hey bro, wake up, we're still a mile out, I need you awake though. So it's like that, but better, because just because there's water everywhere doesn't mean it needs to be boring. So it's just rich lore of that, and there's like these islands everywhere. And people live on these islands, obviously. And one of the biggest ways that people make money in these games is through digging, and they're called diggers. And they just dig through these ancient ruins and try and find ancient technology and these refractors to give them energy. And there's all these different ancient ruins all over the place. And as you go through the games, you like learn more about it, and you learn more about Mega Man himself, because he's like part of like this ancient, thing of people or whatever. And what's cool is, like, at the beginning of the first game, there's just like this one ancient ruin and it's just sticking out of the ocean, which is like kind of like cool. And I wouldn't really say this game is too post-apocalyptic. It doesn't really feel post-apocalyptic by any means, but like, it kind of like feels that way when you see just that giant tower sticking out of the water, and like, that's it. It's just that tower and just surrounded by water, like away from all these different islands and stuff. So that like lore right there is really cool. And in the first game, there's these sky pirates that you have to fight, and they just keep pestering the island because they're trying to get the like the refractor shards and like the treasure off the island, because this island is really rich with a lot of like good ancient technology and artifacts underneath it. So these sky pirates are trying to get in there, and they're kind of goofy, but kind of serious at the same time. Like, they definitely do flip-flop back and forth, and they have a personality to a degree. And one of them, like, gets a crush on you, and she's kind of weird. But a lot of these characters really have, like, a lot of, like, personality. So it's really cool to see, like, the dynamic and different things of them talking to each other. And there's, like, a little goofy scenes, like, you can accidentally walk in on Roll changing if you go into her room when you repair the ship, and it's kind of funny. So it has all these different things, and there's, like, this little, like, monkey Data that's really cute, and I love watching him, like, dance. Like, when he just, like, when he's just idle, he's just dancing, and it's kind of cute. So yeah, just like the game is just amazing. And then the second one, you're just traveling around to the different islands. And to be fair, I think the second one is slightly weaker than the first one. The second one's more like the Sky Pirates just like kind of tailing you and just being really annoying while you're trying to like really figure out like some things with yourself. Because the first one, at the end of the game, this is all spoilers by the way, like obviously I'm explaining the game, but like this game is over 2 decades old, so like go emulate it or something, like figure it out, go get a PS1 and find the game, something like that. Go to your local flea market or like watch a Let's Play or something. But these games are super old, so you know you've had 20 plus years to play it. But at the end of the first game, you meet like this giant being that you awaken, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna like blow up the island because you know it's part of my directive, and then you gotta fight it, and like it's insane. And then you know in both games you got weapon upgrades as well. And it's just so fun. These are just such fun games. And I am shocked that Capcom has not at least remastered these games. It is like, that is mind blowing they haven't remastered these games. Because I honestly feel like these games could absolutely kickstart the Mega Man franchise. And like, I feel like it would just put it back on the map. Because like these games are so different and they're so old too. They came out on the PS1. Like, that's how old these games are. They came out in the late 90s. So if these games got a fresh coat of paint, like a really nice art style, and they just released it, I for sure believe people would rally behind these games so hard. And it's really, like, upsetting that on the 3DS, that game was canceled. I remember replaying these games years ago, and I was like, oh, hey, where's the third game? It was canceled. It was canceled. It was going to be on the 3DS, and it got canceled. And honestly, the reason why it got canceled, I can understand, I guess. It's fine. I can understand why the 3DS game got canceled. It was because the people at Capcom just like weren't passionate about making the game. And honestly, like as much as I want them to pump out a game, if they're not passionate and they're not like putting their all into this game, it's just gonna flop and it's not gonna be good. It's gonna suck. So if the team behind it isn't, you know, putting in the best effort and they don't know what to do with it, then it's gonna suck. And I mean, it makes sense why they canceled it, but like it really does suck that they couldn't just like, you know, some executive just couldn't be like, all right, let's get a team who is passionate about it. Let's do it. Let's put a team on there, because God, it would be so nice to have 3, like Mega Man Legends 3. There are 3 games in the franchise, however. The third one is a prequel to the first game, Adventures of Tron Bone. I haven't played that one because I don't think it would interest me, but I might play it. I just haven't gotten around to it, and I have other games to play. But yeah, you know, I might play it one of these days. But there are 3 games, but Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 would be nice to have remastered, you know, just making a third one. It does suck that also the Mega Man franchise, like I said earlier, just kind of been like in a lull lately. We haven't gotten one since 2018. And it just feels like Capcom has just kind of like put Mega Man to the wayside, which really sucks. It's not like Capcom doesn't have other game franchises. Like they got Street Fighter 6, which is the biggest fighting game in the world. They got other games like Resident Evil, and they also got Monster Hunter and a slew of other games that they could, you know, make. So it understands why, like, you know, if Mega Man has been doing well, you know, for a while, like why put effort into it? And it does suck because now if they were to make a Mega Man Legends 3, the standards are really high now, because originally the first 2 games are still like in an open world setting to a degree. You can explore and get items and stuff, but now the bar of open worlds has been set very high So whatever Mega Man Legends 3 becomes, it's either going to have to be like, again, like Mega Man Legends 2 style with multiple islands, but these islands are going to have to be like massive and explorative, and especially the ancient ruins too. So not only are the top of the islands going to have to be explorable with side quests and, you know, items and stuff like that, the ancient ruins that you explore are definitely going to have to be like really expansive too, with lots of fighting, the Reaver bots, and, you know, maybe even adding puzzles too, because there really isn't puzzles in the games, but they would probably have to start adding some type of mechanic like that with some more in-depth puzzles. So like the bar has set extremely high for games like Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Fallout. Like these games have set the bar so high that, like, back in, I think it got canceled in like 2010 or something like that for the 3DS. Back then, the bar was low. They could definitely have, you know, a world kind of the size of like an early Pokemon game or something like that and get away with it, and it would have been fine. But nowadays, like, it needs to be like huge. You need to have huge. And then not only do you have to compete with the gameplay of a huge world and all these things, you got to compete with good storytelling too. Not that Mega Man Legends doesn't have good lore, mind you. The lore of the game is very deep and very good. Granted, there's not much of it because it's only in the games, but there's a lot of questions that can be expanded upon and that we can learn about and that they could put in Mega Man Legends 3. But I can understand that it's a tall task for Capcom to do, considering they could just put their resources somewhere else, like another Resident Evil game, which people are going to slop up. I think they're also working on another Monster Hunter game that comes out next year as well. Keeping up development on Street Fighter 6, and then like there's other games like, you know, I think we're getting like an Ace Attorney remaster as well, so they probably put some resources into that. So like all these other franchises, you know, that they, you know, either collaborate with Nintendo with or their own franchises, like they have all these different things to keep up with. So it's understandable why they wouldn't, you know, put a lot of resources into a Mega Man Legends 3. I think what they should do though is remaster the first one at least, because that would be great. Like the first one to me means the most because I casually speedran it like a lot of the time. And by casual speedrun, I don't mean like, oh, I just played, you know, the normal way. Like I did glitches and stuff like that, but like I wasn't trying to go for like I wasn't trying to go for world record. I was just like following the world record speedrun route and just like kind of just doing glitches. If I messed up, whatever. It'd be like that. I mess up, just retry the glitch, reload, stuff like that. You know, just casually speedran it. And then like I want to use my college degree for something, so I think like one of like my little hobbies is just going to be like to remake the game with like a new art style myself, or just like do something similar, maybe just remake an area or something like that, just for the funs of it, just for funsies, because obviously Capcom's not doing it. They're not going to remake the game clearly. But if they were to remake it, I think that would be the first step in the right directions. They already have, you know, everything. It would just honestly be just redo the textures of everything, you know, add some new bells and whistles to the game, and then see how the public receives the game. Honestly, I think it would just be a very, very well received remake. But again, it's just like, it's very understandable why they wouldn't do it. But God, Mega Man Legends, I think, would put the Mega Man franchise back on the map for sure for Capcom, and probably, you know, people will be like, oh yeah, Mega Man, because like, you know, there's like the you know, just the regular Mega Mans as well, where, you know, like my brother and dad used to play them, like we used to all play together as a family and stuff, and we'd take turns beating the different levels and stuff like that if you die past the controller, stuff like that. And I think it would definitely like revitalize like some old fans who are like, oh, Mega Man, I remember Mega Man, he looks different though. Oh, this is a big, huge world. Oh, this is crazy. Wow, this is awesome. I can upgrade his stuff. Oh, crazy. Like, stuff like that. I think that'd be fantastic for, you know, the Mega Man franchise. But Mega Man Legends needs to come back, please. I, like, if selling your soul for something was available, I would sell my soul to get the Mega Man Legends franchise up and started. Like, it's just that good. It just means that much to me. It's very near and dear to my heart. It's just like one of my favorite game franchises of all time. But anyways, that's my thoughts. That's what I want. I want Mega Man Legends back. And, you know, let me know what you think. If you play other Mega Man games, if you've never played Mega Man Legends, I highly recommend it. Definitely seek your local used game store and or get the game by other means of your choosing. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Peace.